And today I'm announcing that we will be reassigning head coach Benny Moss to another position in the athletics department.
Hello again, Seahawks fans. As you just heard, some shakeup atop the UNCW men's basketball program this week. The announcement to replace Benny Moss with three-year assistant Brooks Lee on an interim basis comes with 9 games left in a regular season that has been slightly disappointing for the Seahawks, who came into the season with higher expectations thanks to new players and less injuries. However, UNCW has won only one of its past 7 games. We will have highlights of that victory against James Madison from Saturday later in the show. But first, let's toss it over to Brian, who was at Trask Coliseum for Friday's announcement.
It's very tough, very tough to be up here. I have a great deal of respect for Coach Moss as a coach and as a man. He gave me an opportunity to be here, and I'm very appreciative of that.
The timing was surprising, but UNC Wilmington Athletic Director Kelly Mertens felt this was the right time to remove Benny Moss from his duties as men's basketball coach and reassign him within the athletic department.
We began the season in November in Charleston, and now we're headed down the home stretch of the CAA tournament. And today I'm announcing that we will be reassigning head coach Benny Moss to another position in the athletics department. This was a very difficult decision for me personally because I like Benny very much and have enjoyed our relationship here at UNCW. But as you know, men's basketball is the lifeblood of our department.
The Seahawks were struggling, having lost 6 of their last 7, and Moss had a 41-74 overall record in 3.5 seasons.
Well, part of my job as athletic director is to constantly evaluate all of our sport programs. And so at the end of every year, we're having conversations with coaches about expectations and how do we see the program moving forward. And so with that being said, we're constantly talking.
Assistant coach Brooks Lee will take over as interim head coach and will be in charge Saturday night when the Seahawks face Towson on homecoming.
I'm worried about our team, Saturday's game against Towson and our 2 o'clock practice are the main things on my mind.
Going into this season, Benny Moss had high expectations. This was his deepest, most athletic, and most veteran team in 4 seasons. Seahawks showed some promise early with a victory over Penn State in the Charleston Classic. Several narrow defeats around the turn of the year, but ultimately just were not competitive enough in the CAA for him to stay on board. Moss has 3 years remaining on his contract that pays him $170,000 a year annually.
When do you look to make a decision? I think you make a decision based upon where you are at that moment. And I'm constantly evaluating all of our programs.
Mertens said that she will conduct a national coaching search and would like to have a coach in place sometime around the end of the NCAA tournament.
I really just want to focus right now on us finishing the season. Obviously, this is a great job, and there are many people out there that know it's a great job and believe it's a great job. So I feel pretty confident that we will find, someone in the end that our students, our alums, our fans, and the community will embrace.
This is Brian Mull reporting from Trask Coliseum. Please stay tuned to starnewsonline.com or visit my blog for all the latest information and breaking news on the Seahawks.
Thanks, Brian. As we look into the bottom half of the CAA standings, there are 6 teams with a 3-7 conference record or worse, and the Seahawks are part of that group. However, UNCW still has 2 games left against bottom-feeding Towson, 1 against Delaware, and a shot at revenge against Hofstra, who beat the Seahawks by 39 points on Long Island Wednesday night, signaling the end of Benny Moss's tenure with the Seahawks. The top half of the standings is decidedly better, with Old Dominion and George Mason leading the way. Now back to Trask for last Saturday's game, where the Seahawks picked up a win in Moss's final home game. The Seahawks struggled to find scoring early, shooting only 32% from the floor in the first half, and they trailed by 6 at the break. They did turn things around in the second half, shooting 50% from the floor in the final 20 minutes to get a 67-64 victory. All of that despite the fact that the Seahawks were out-rebounded 43-33 for the game and were outscored by 10 points in the paint, and they also only made 19 of 35 free throws, an abysmal 54%. However, Tomko made 2 in the final second after a technical foul for the 3-point win. John Fields tallied his CAA league-leading sixth double-double of the season, 17 points and 11 rebounds. Johnny Wolf added 16 points, and Tomko finished with 15. Interim head coach Brooks Lee's first test will be Saturday, the homecoming game against last-place Towson. That game starts at 6 at Trask Coliseum, and UNCW will stay home for next Wednesday's game when VCU comes to town with Larry Sanders and his crew. That will do it for us this week. For Brian Mull, this is Dan Spears. Be sure to tune into StarNewsOnline.com for more on the Seahawks, and for even faster updates, read Brian's blog, hawkshoops.blogs.starnewsonline.com.
I think Brian Mull was probably the person that called me the most in the last 24 hours. So he's been doing his job, definitely.